Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Glorious Gun, and we're back with Gungrave on Kickass difficulty. It's going to be mission 5. We're going to be in the sewers, and we're also going to be fighting Bear Walking towards the end of this level, but we'll get to that when we do. That's another fun boss fight. For the majority, outside of the Bungie boss fight, that fucking name, that dreaded name that will be uttered throughout the entirety of this guide. All the boss fights are very similar in terms of how they play out. Most of the, I think with the exception of Bob, all of them have, very similar patterns in which the space kind of varies in the size of the bosses, but, most of them have a kind of like the stinger attack where they dive forward, one-hit animation, and so on. So, from a technical aspect as far as the gameplay goes, there's not a whole lot of variation there, but it's still fun, and Bear Walkin's a pretty fucking cool character. He's actually probably my favorite out of Harry's ensemble, out of the Syndicate, just because he was there in the beginning of the story as well. He was the constant. He was kind of like the seasoned vet, and he played a larger part in the story, I believe, especially with Brandon's character development as well. I always liked that part where he had to kind of take out his fallen partner, and Brandon was the one to do it. And there was a lot of good character arcs as far as the development that occurred during the kind of, not the pre-time skip, I want to be fair to say, but during the prequel arc, or the main majority of the story of Gungrave. So I always thought that was kind of cool. And he was voiced by Jet, so that voice actor, though I cannot pronounce his last or first name, he's a cool motherfucker, and forever shall be. He's actually, and don't crucify me here, guys. Out of my gaming taboos, there are a few games which I have yet to play, and JRPGs have been a struggle for me to wrap my mind around. Not that I don't enjoy them. Like, I played Persona 4, but I've yet to complete a lot of them just because they're larger time investments. Funny I say that considering I play a lot of fucking open world games, but if you're looking at the story aspect of those, they usually don't take long. That's not what your time drain is. It's mostly, the typical Ubisoft formula of finding collectibles and doing all that other shit. But I'm, fucking transitioning to one other subject matter into the next. I'm going to take a sip there of my water, sponsored by Mother Nature, I guess. That was a dumb fucking joke. Alright, back to what I was saying, though. I love how I went through, like, 5 different trains of thoughts and didn't complete any of them there. Gotta love that shit. But, yeah, boss fights, Bear Walking. I was going to talk about FF7 really quick with the remake. That voice actor is going to be voicing the black dude from Final Fantasy VII, and I almost said his name was Garen, or Baron, I think it's Baron, but like I said, I haven't played FF7, and I know I have my moments of gaming elitism, so I'm sure anyone that heard that just threw up in their mouth a little bit, but I'll get around to it. I'm gonna play the fucking game, don't worry. I have more games under my belt than most, just that I haven't hit all of the pinnacles as far as what makes you a gamer, you know what I mean? But besides that, with this level, if there's anything to talk about, you're going to have your last sarcophagus ability. I'm just going to keep using that term because I like the way sarcophagus sounds, I guess. And that is just a more improved variant of the bullet dance, I believe. And it's pretty fucking dope. Definitely useful, especially with these larger crowds that are going to be coming out. But this level is starting to introduce shield enemies, along with the flamethrower types and more enhanced versions of the brutes and melee grunts that you're going to be facing. So this is a bit more of a gauntlet. You're going to have a lot of enemies to go through, so feel free to start using those ability points or whatever other fucking terminology you want to feel like using for the coffin abilities. But yeah, so just kind of with all that said, I mean, there isn't much more to say about the gameplay. You're going to be rolling through this elevator here as they drop in a few swarms, some of the flying enemies and some not. But if you've made it to this point in the game, this far, you should be totally fine. And the only thing we really have to touch on is the last fight. So with the time I do have in between that, I like to go off topic a bit and, rant a little bit about a fucking movie theater that I dislike extremely. And sorry, I know it isn't the most professional thing for me to be taking a swig, but it's really fucking hard to talk for 10 minutes straight, and it's really disheartening to listen back to some of my commentary and to see how disoriented or unorganized I am at points, and I use a lot of bridge words. I say a lot, and I've mentioned that before, but that bothers the shit out of me. But tonight, and I went to go see a film, or at least attempted to. And if you're looking to learn a little bit more about me, I'm an avid film lover. I'm a film student. I find myself at the theater a lot, especially around this time of year, because this is when, you know, all the Oscar-worthy films are popping out. So, you know, I've made my rounds. I go to the theater a lot by myself, so I usually pick a day like Sunday or Monday, or some fucking obscure weekday. I go to at like the 10:45 or 12:30 showing. Typically whatever late showing I can, if I have time. I'm usually out of work around then. And I sit in the theater by myself, and I get to watch a movie, or maybe there's like some fucking old couple or some teenagers that are just looking to get some tail and fuck in a theater. That's never happened, but I've heard stories, you know. But it's usually an alright experience. And the theater I go to is relatively close. There's one in my hometown, but they only do like one showing per movie. If that not per movie, but they only accommodate one film at a time typically. So right now it's Star Wars. But as far as my film going experience has gone these past couple of months, you know, I popped in the theater here and there. Thanksgiving I went and saw Trumbo with Bryan Cranston. And then right now, this is the season in which all the crazy shit's happening. But I really want to continue this thought. It's just that the fight's coming up. Fuck. We'll get to it, but I guess I should pause. I really do like the set piece as you walk up to Barrett Walken's house. He has this kind of Bushido way of living as far as he is in the anime, but you're now introduced to his character. This is his first variant form. Very similar to the Lee fight. He has this string of attacks, and typically the one he's going to be using the most is this machine gun one, and all you're going to have to do is really evade to the left. This is going to be the easiest way to go about most of your damage dealing. He does have a charge attack, which is right there. That's his animation hit. And as far as his other attacks, they're pretty predictable in the sense that you'll see them coming. So the rocket attack's extremely easy to evade too. Usually if you're just jumping to the side, you should be okay. And this first form of the fight is relatively easy. But we'll knock down his health. A small cutscene will occur, and then it's going to jump into his second form, where he's hulked out and he has this giant masturbatory arm of power and godliness, and he's going to try to hit you with it. And I think similar to Bob, he'll throw bodies at you and shit. But here you go. Look, the porn is strong in this one. He has these big old gorilla hands in this small body. And he has this fucking sonic boom attack. You know, he's channeling his guile, and then he'll try to one punch man. He'll try to one punch man the fuck out of you and pull some Saitama shit. But that's usually an easy evade as well. This section of the fight isn't hard whatsoever. It's more of just kind of a war of attrition, because he'll move away from you if you get too close, and then typically when you do get too close, he'll do this string of attacks. But this is extremely easier more easier to deal with than his fucking Street Fighter stolen moveset that he's attempting to do on you. So just get as close as you can, keep the pressure on him, and you should be totally fine. The rest of his attacks really aren't that hard to evade, and the majority of this fight should be a cakewalk. He's pretty fair as all things considered. He'll throw a fucking helicopter at you at some points, but if you run or just evade, it'll be good. And then when that prompt hits up, we'll be doing that. We'll have a flashy little cutscene, and that should be all she wrote for Bear Walken. And I guess I can continue my movie tangent in the following videos, maybe after the Bungie one, because that's a bit of a longer set piece. But I would like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll be sure to catch you in the next one. And I promise I will complete one thought one of these days, and I'll have a bit more fluidity to my voice and my commentary. But give me time. This is still the first guide. And as always, I hope to see you for the next one. I will catch you guys later.